So you want to know the truth. You want clarity. You want your wisdom confirmed, your intuition confirmed. But you can't see the truth. You can't really detect something, scout something out in the dark, demystify a situation, as this owl totem represents, without giving this owl your intuition, your wisdom, your clarity, your foresight, your insight, a place to perch, a place to sit. The owl needs a tree. It needs the advantage, it needs the height. So you need to be both the owl searching for the truth within yourself and others and situations, but also you need to be the tree. And a tree, in order for it to be stable and strong, withstand the storm, or be one with storm, must have solid, strong, deep roots. So to know the truth, to find clarity in your situation, you have to be rooted, you have to be grounded, you have to take care of your structure, of your foundation. And the roots symbolize your unconscious, which is your memories, your fears, all of humanity, really. All of humanity's problems. There's also a lot of good in the unconscious. A lot of nutrients that continue to feed this tree of your life. So if you feel like you haven't gained complete clarity on a situation, maybe it's because the owl can't sit still in the tree, or the tree isn't strong enough to withhold the owl's weight. The roots need to go deeper. They need to get stronger. You need to tap in to those places that you're fearful of, so that you can open up those roots to receive nutrients from the good that's hiding there too. It's almost like, the fears, the illusions within your subconscious about your life, about your childhood, about all of these things, all those yucky feelings, the deep depths of despair. They're like a block for those optimistic, loving nutrients, the ones that know how just how much joy there is in living. And I don't mean experiencing things like your work or relationships or that kind of living. I mean just breathing, just being, just sitting in nature, sitting in a room, just being with this magnificent thing you've been given called a mind, body, and soul, which is really all one thing. And the amount of things you can create, that humans can create with this, with their mind, body, soul, is phenomenal. It's mind-blowing. And so I think it's time to feed that a little bit more, so you can really give this owl aspect of yourself, this detective, this hunter of truth, a really strong place to rest on, so that it can have a stable, fixed gaze into whatever it is you're seeking clarity on. Let's get into your reading. Happy new moon in Cancer again. I'm filming this just after the moon and the sun went conjunct. And when there's a conjunction between the sun and the moon in the sky, we can either feel really energized, really happy, really stable, really firm, or maybe we feel like something's not quite right. It can throw us off. We might feel anxiety, sadness, or something like that. And if you're in alignment, if your branches and your leaves are as big and as equivalent to your roots, which is what a solid tree is all about, is that kind of balance. And I'm seeing the Six of Cups here from the Wild Unknown, which has the tree image. And that card, is, of course, is about soul contracts, but also about your childhood. So when you're in alignment like that, the new moon, full moon, or just sun and moon conjunction, doesn't have to be a full moon or a new moon, but just the sun and the moon conjunction, the sun representing your ego, the moon representing your subconscious, your shadow, perhaps in this case. When they're conjunct and you're in alignment, you should feel really powerful. You should feel like you have everything makes sense to you, everything's in order, you have a lot of energy. And when there's something that's weakened, that you're either not feeding your ego enough with your shadow, which can be a positive aspect to say you need to protect yourself, right? You may have to get a little bit tough. You may have to get a little bit mean as far as others see it, but it's not mean so much as it is protecting yourself. And sometimes you need your shadow to help you out there. Okay, so when there's some kind of imbalance here between, your shadow and your ego, or say you're too afraid to look into the shadow aspect, your roots aren't strong enough, then this time can be really disturbing. It can feel uncomfortable. It can feel sad. And there's no judgment if you feel either way. I think today I've had fluctuations between both, feeling really centered and then feeling not so centered. And so flow, as I talked about in my last reading, is really important to understand as part of this cycle. So it's okay to feel unbalanced at times. But the point of this reading that I want to get into is really how do we, find that balance so that we can see clearly into our own lives, into our own present, into our dreams of the future, into our recollection and our memories, and how do we be a good judge of our own character and our own capacities and our wills to act in the world. So let's kind of find that out. It's a big one, eh? I think so. I heard it's time, though. It's time. All right. Okay, we got the Queen of Wands and the King of Swords coming out. Your feminine, your masculine, your yin and your yang, your conscious and your subconscious, however you want to pair these. We have fire and air. I think, collective, you're more in alignment than you know. Is what you're portraying what you're feeling? Is what you're portraying to the world as the Queen of Wands, what you're attracting towards you, actually what you're feeling? And I'm seeing this as a feeling card right now. Okay, I'm reading intuitively here. Because I think what you're feeling is this owl energy. You're feeling like you need to figure something out. You need to know. But you're kind of acting like you have all the answers. And like I said about that flow, it's not really an either or situation. It's not whether you have all the answers or you have all the questions and you can only be on one side. No, there's a vacillation, an oscillation between these two aspects of yourself. But for some reason, this is creating a little bit of a conflict. Maybe what you're doing isn't lining up to what you're thinking you want to do, or what you're doing is unsettling your thoughts in some way. Perhaps it's gaining you a new perspective, but you're not really sure about what this perspective is all about. Okay, let's keep going here. Page of Wands as the concern or the challenge. Well, I think a little bit of the concern here is that maybe other people won't recognize your power, your potential, your authority. Maybe you're in a space right now where you need to kind of dull your light a little bit, you know, and that's not advice, but maybe that's how you're feeling, right? That you need to kind of come off as this page rather than this queen and king. Because, well, you want to find out the truth, but like any kind of good private eye, right? Like the owl is, you need to disguise yourself. Someone unassuming, someone who doesn't attract a lot of attention, who doesn't know it all and is also not asking questions. Interesting. The good private eye does not ask questions either, or else people start asking questions while you're asking questions. So maybe you feel like you're doing something right now that is beneath you, or you're worried that maybe your cover's going to be blown in some way. Or maybe there's somebody around you that you have a sneaking suspicion is a lot more powerful or has a bigger agenda than what they're coming off as. Let's see here. Well, I think there's a conflict here of wanting to know the truth, but having to take a back seat. Okay, or it doesn't have to be truth, whatever that means to you. You know, I mean, like, it doesn't have to be so profound. It could be you just need to have clarity on a certain situation. But you have to kind of go about it in a very clever, quiet, nocturnal way. I heard, and this is on one of my cards that I own, be the hunter, not the hunted. Okay. So maybe you're simultaneously kind of trying to hide yourself from someone or shield yourself from someone while also trying to shoot an arrow at them or trying to figure out something about them. Okay, let's check the current energy. The moon. Yeah, this is very nocturnal vibes. Well, I'm looking at this card and I heard digging a hole. Where does it go? Well, there's something buried. There's something buried, and that's what you're looking for. It's like this owl. You're waiting for that mouse or that rodent or whatever it is. I heard rat, to poke up out of the earth, the ground, scurry across the grass so you can catch it. And you can say, aha, I always knew there was a rat in that hole. I always knew there was a rat hiding. But the moon card here is about confusion a little bit. things not really being too clear. And if you look at this little dog's face, I don't know if you can see it, he's kind of like, what the fuck am I doing? Why am I digging this hole? And so I think, collective, the hole that you need to be digging, or where you need to be going to find out the answer, is in the roots. I mean, look at this. They're digging into the foundation, into your roots. I heard, what's a life without a great mystery? What's life without a great mystery? I heard a life, not life in general, a life. What's a life without a great mystery? That seems very Scorpio to me, doesn't it? So let's see. Oh, wow. 5 of Pentacles. Collective, whatever you're looking for in this situation, are you looking for the best in this situation, or are you looking for the worst? Are you trying to find out something that you know will make you feel rejected, sullen, hurt, betrayed, left out in the cold? Are you looking for that? Is that what the owl's looking for? The barren kind of field with no food? I heard prey, with no prey. Is this maybe why you can't find what you're looking for? Because what you're looking for isn't there. What you're looking for is not you being left out in the cold. And I'm getting called to use a concrete example. Are you looking to find out the truth of someone's character, and you have a sneaking suspicion, let's say, that, you know, they are intentionally manipulative, that they do this to multiple people, that you weren't the only one, that it wasn't your fault, which it isn't, right? All of those kinds of things. Are you looking to find out if somebody has cheated on you, betrayed you, stolen from you? Well, that's really not going to help the owl out, to see the rat but not do anything with it. Because once you find out that, all of that, what do you do from there? Where do you go from there? What's the point of knowing all that? Is it to get to this place? Because I feel like whatever you're not having clarity about at this time is because what you're looking for isn't there. And that's not to say that person isn't the way you suspect them to be, or the situation isn't the way you suspect it to be. But it's that hurt, that gut-wrenching confirmation of that, that's not meant for you. You're not meant for that pain. No. Your mind is sharp and clear. You have a lot of energy, a lot of goodness to share with the world. You can't be messing around with this private eye. What the hell am I doing? I don't know the answers, only to anticipate feeling like this at the end, feeling ouch. What kind of exploration is that? I heard trying to move mountains. Maybe you've already experienced enough pain around this situation. You've already experienced enough, and now it's time for you to flourish, to be in your abundance. See, I feel like you feel robbed. You feel like you can't rest because you were robbed of something. You were potentially doing really well on your own, really abundant, or maybe not on your own, but you felt solid, stable, secure, that things were in your hands, and then something happened and you don't know why it happened. You don't know why you let it happen. Why would the Queen of Wands and King of Swords let something as confusing as the Five of Pentacles and the Moon energy happen? Why would they let that happen? You know, and I think that's the real question that you have here, is not about the rat in the field and whether or not you can see it properly coming out of the hole, but the question is really about, why weren't my roots and foundations strong enough so that I could have seen this before it happened? I heard life doesn't work like that. Life is full of surprises. This is a special card in this deck. There's a white Newman and a black Newman. It's like the shadow and the light. All the dualities we've been talking about, subconscious, conscious, but shadow and light. And this is falling, and this is the light. And it's falling right underneath the moon for your present actions. There's a conflict right now about, or maybe it's between your ego and your spirit. Maybe it's just somebody else. I'm seeing someone wind a thread around their finger. Somebody else is winding you up to make you feel like you need to investigate something, to make you feel like you need to know why you got left out in the cold, that you need answers, that you'll never be clear of this situation, you'll never be back in power if you don't find out the truth of a situation. But that's in direct contradiction to your current energy, your actions, what you're doing with your life. And what you're doing with your life, believe it or not, is working on your light. It's working on, I heard spellcaster, okay? And that's the name of a tarot I have. So I don't know what that's about. Maybe that's a clue for someone here. But it's about working on your light work, your magic, your ability to withstand a storm. To be sacred. The cow, the bull, sacred animal. To explore what's sacred to you. And all of this stuff going on, it's just like wind. I heard it's just like wind, and I'm seeing like the grass move in the wind. It's just an illusion. You know, when you look up from somewhere, or sorry, you look down from somewhere you could look up to, I guess, depending on your perspective. But you can see the grass moving, and the way the light plays on it, it almost looks like there's a design in the grass as it moves with the wind. It's just an illusion. There's nothing really there. It's all in your perspective. It's all in your mind. The owl, with a sturdy, steady gaze on a strong branch, knows this already, doesn't get tricked by that visual illusion. And I feel like right now, you're doing some work on dispelling your own illusions, but somehow, some way, somebody or something is trying to get you to participate in working on an illusion that isn't just not worth your time. Nine of Wands as your desired outcome. Well, some of you feel like you need to prove something to yourself, that you're strong enough to do this investigation work, or what, take that as a metaphor, whatever it is you're doing. That you're strong enough to push through even though you've been hurt. You're strong enough to shine a light, 8 of Swords, on all the things that have been plaguing you and hurting you. Some of you want to know more about your roots, and that's a good thing. So what's with this conflict? Take out this top row of the Page of Wands, the Moon, the 5 Pentacles. Wipe that out, and what you have is this super powerful reading. I genuinely feel like there's interference from the outside world coming in here, trying to distract you from really being the warrior that you already are, from really chilling as the owl in the tree, in your tree. Somebody or something has you bound. And this could be anything, right? This could be like the media, we could even say. It could be politics. It could be your family's ideologies. It could be your best friend's drama. It could be whatever, it doesn't have to be another person. It could be a book you're reading, a television show that just shows toxic behaviors, whatever this is to you. Going on your cell phone the first thing in the morning to see, social media, rather than spending that time alone. Whatever this is, it's got you tied, got you not seeing things totally clear. She's wearing a patch over one eye, almost maimed. I heard it's breaking you down, so you'll know what this is. 8 of Cups. It's an energy that is, well, I'm seeing someone in a lake, just like that card, but they have a life jacket on. And they need to swim, but they can't swim properly because there's this life jacket. So maybe some of you have been dealing with some kind of advice situation, somebody trying to keep you afloat in whatever way that means, that is just holding you back, okay? What do you need to know? The Hermit. I mean, God, do you know what I'm going to say? The answers are inside of you. Did you know I was going to say that? That's what you need to know. That you're wise. I'm hearing that you are the ruler of the sun and moon and stars. You are the ruler. I'm hearing, did you know that Earth rotates and moves? And you should, right? But then I heard, do you know that you rotate and move in the Earth? And I'm thinking about this in terms of our birth charts, right? Our birth charts are a snapshot of the sky when we were born. And it's so important to know the time of birth and all of that, because the Earth is moving and the sky then is in a different place, right? Like the celestial bodies are different depending on what time you were born, their position in relation to the perspective of Earth. So in that sense, it's like Earth, your life, is also a snapshot. Your life is a snapshot depending on your perspective, right? Because you're moving too. So I'm getting, it's important for you to know where you are at any given time, what your perspective is at any given time, and what snapshots it's taking of your life. And if you want a different life, I'm hearing, if you want a different birth chart, I don't know, analogy, I suppose. If you want a different life, just rotate. Just pivot, I heard. Now, there's a lot of people, I heard naysayers, that are going to say, no, this is not that easy, Knight of Cups, to just move forward in love and like just change your perspective. What about this, this, and this? But that kind of goes back to, just realizing how powerful you are as a living, sentient being. And are you really going to let all these outside distractions dictate your life? I mean, we can be sent off to exile on an abandoned island and be totally distraught because we'll never see anyone again. We'll never see all the people we love again. We'll be all alone. So on our way there in the boat, we might be totally a mess, thinking about how miserable we're going to be. But it's not really the exile or the, isolated island that's the problem. It's how you're viewing the situation. And that's not really a problem. I don't want to say it like that, but it's not what's causing the negative emotions. It's your perspective of what's going to happen. So if instead we accept and we think, all right, well, I'm going to go there and I'm going to find something new out about myself or about life. And we go joyously. That's the power of the mind. Now, it's an extreme example. I don't expect anybody to, maybe like some kind of monk, but, when we scale it down, these big examples to relationships, doesn't it seem a little silly to let them rule our lives and the way we feel? Your advice, the Two of Cups. I also got the Magician. Isn't that what I just said, Spirit? Eight of Wands. Well, as soon as you want to feel better, I heard you can. The Magician with the Two of Cups. Your happiness, your sense of union, your sense of love, soul connection with yourself, with others, with the tree, with the owl, with the rat, whatever we're talking about, but mostly yourself, your consciousness. What you do with it is all up to you. How you perceive things is all up to you. Now, it's not easy. It's a journey. That is ascension, right? Is learning how powerful our mind, body, soul are and how they create our reality. And sure, maybe they don't dictate like the cup being a cup. Maybe they do. Who knows, right? We don't know everything. But they sure dictate how I feel about this cup. Right? What emotions are attached to this mug for me? Well, there's many actually. Okay. You truly are the creator of your own universe. The High Priestess as your advice outcome. This is, I know it's a little risque photo. I don't know why they depicted, well, I do actually, Persephone but anyways, let's not get sidetracked. Interesting. I heard let's not get sidetracked by sexuality. I don't know what that's about. Okay, but this is the secret. This is the secret. This is what you're looking for. This is what the owl knows deep down inside. The owl is the high priestess. And the magician is also you, as is the tree watering. The magician waters that tree, decides how it will grow, if it will grow, to give you this perspective, this sacred knowledge, sacred perspective on what is real, what is true, what is really going on. It's up to you. I love you so much.